All right, hey, that was a good old-fashioned rock fight there. Most physical opening game I've ever been a part of. Um, Give Cincinnati a lot of credit. I thought they disrupted everything we wanted to do, game plan-wise, going into the game. In the first half, we could not run our offense so much so that we basically scrapped our offense at halftime and ran kind of a variation of really something we hadn't run all year. And I thought our guys were great. They just played off instincts and really responded. But I give Cincinnati, they were just so physical. And I give our guys a lot of credit. You know, I say this all the time, players win games, and those guys made so many plays, from Kyle's active plays to I thought Caleb's he took 2 charges, the number of other shots that he impacted. He blocked a shot on 21 in transition. I thought defensively he was really, really good, and the staff kept yelling at me to take him out with 4 fouls, so much that I had to tell him to stop yelling at me. But he responded by making some critical plays down the stretch. So proud of this first win. Got to find a way, obviously, to grow and be a lot better. I'm sure it wasn't aesthetically pleasing to people, but I don't really care.
First 4 minutes of the second half, you guys go from down 7 at halftime to up 4. A lot of it based on your defense. I think they only had 1 basket in that stretch, and you guys were able to finally get a few to go. Took the ball to the basket a couple times. And
yeah.
I don't know, what was maybe the message at halftime and the difference in those first 4 minutes?
Of the second half from the first half?
Yeah, when you grabbed the lead.
I felt like it was a couple things. One, they had to relax. We were wound pretty tight. And a lot of new guys or guys in their first or second year of the program or just first game stuff. And, you're playing at home. I just thought we were wound really tight, and I sensed it all day. But, you try to address that as much as possible. But so we settled down for one. But I also think that we really tried to simplify things at halftime. I just didn't think we were putting them in good enough positions, our guys, in the first half offensively, because they were taking us out of everything that we had wanted to run going into the game, and we just tried to simplify it. And then they played off their instincts, and that gave us a rhythm.
And Kyle Young, when guys go to their junior year, you want them to take that step. And obviously just one game, but 14 and 13, the most he's ever had in either category in a game, I believe. Just effort and production. Is that what you want to see a guy do when he moves into the upperclassman phase?
Absolutely. He was terrific. He was good in this game last year, too, if we remember. He was really good in this one last year. I didn't know, this is kind of his kind of a game where he could really impact it. But he's healthy, and I think that really matters with a guy who his legs are so important to him. And Kyle's got one thing on his mind when he plays, and that is Ohio State winning. That's the only thing that matters to him, and that's true of all of our guys. But I think you see, particularly in a game against a in-state rival, that means something to him.
This is probably the best game as far as freshmen adjusting the physicality of college basketball. Just especially EJ and DJ, since they got a lot of time tonight. How do you think they responded to that? Good.
We had some rough moments there. I think EJ's first 5 to 8 minutes were ones that he's going to reflect back on and kind of laugh a little bit and say, "Whoa, I thought I knew what was coming, but I had no idea." But I thought he really responded and gave us good minutes in the second half. I pulled him because he missed a block out on the free throw line, but I thought he really responded and gave us important minutes.
You mentioned how hard it was in the first half offensively. How encouraging was it in the second half to just sort of, put Caleb in a high ball screen, let him play up top, and they figured out a way to find offense?
Yeah, that was to have the luxury of a guy like that was the difference, honestly, in the game, because it loosened so much. When he made 2 threes in the second half, so you got to press out even more. But when they're putting that kind of heat on the ball and they're denying passes in passing lanes and being as physical as they were, that was really the answer. And obviously, your players got to make plays. And I thought Caleb's decisions up there. It's a great luxury to have a 5-man who can make reads and decisions up there. Pass it, isn't going to turn it over. You got to be aware of where he's at. He hit a corner 3 and then a top of the key 3, and our point guards did a good job finding him.
And then 2 things: is Andre going to be okay? And then what did you think he gave you defensively on Cumberland?
Great. I thought Andre was great defensively on it. Really took on the challenge against a really good player. Andre's being evaluated right now. I don't want to get into the specifics, but he took a significant hit, and we'll see. He's being evaluated right now, and I'm actually going to head over and see him here in a minute.
You had all those newcomers, and you played 10 people, and then they had the sense, as young as they are and as new as they are, to grind it out.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I thought it was a good step. This felt like a league game, to be honest with you, a game in which both teams know each other really well, and obviously we had time to prepare. I think they had a better feel, for us than we did them, in the sense that we weren't quite sure how he was going to utilize some of his guys. But we knew there were going to be some adjustments, but that was, I thought, the difference. We just kind of found a way to outlast them. And again, I think Cincinnati's a good team and going to have a very good year. And I have tremendous respect for John and the Cumberlands, and I think they're going to have a good year. I really do.
You touched on the preparation being difficult because of the new staff and all that. Was there anything that you saw that you were prepared for or not prepared for when they went out actually on the floor, and something that was different or the same of what you've seen from John's teams?
Their defense was way more physical in person than I felt like it might be. I watched 15 of Northern Kentucky's games. Obviously, he's got a different athlete, but I just thought, and probably that's what he's thinking because of their athleticism right now. They can do that. I think that was probably what was most probably startling to me, and wish maybe I would have given our guys a better feel for what that was going to be, but that was surprising. He ran some things that we had obviously seen and we had prepared for. He runs great offense, and then his set play package was fortunately fairly familiar to us, but his defense was just more physical than I anticipated. Oh, okay.
Hey, Chris. You mentioned the rock fight nature of this game.
Yeah.
Virginia and Syracuse played a game tonight that ended 48-34.
Who won?
Virginia. Kentucky and Duke shot in the 30s last night and won.
48-34?
Yeah.
Wow. I feel great right now. I feel great. Hey, all the fans that watch, you saw an offensive explosion compared to that. All right, I don't want to hear any complaining.
How much is some of that a product of starting a college basketball season on November 5th and 6th? And how hard is it to have any kind of rhythm when you start that early, particularly against good people?
I think it's a big part of it. And you're right. We did see that last night with Kansas have 28 turnovers. It's just different, right? You're playing, you're just not there yet in November. You're just not. And but I thought we took some real strides forward. I thought our guys' ability to adjust in the midst of the game to the physicality and to doing some things differently said a lot about them. It is. We want these games early. Everybody wants us to play these kind of games, and I get it. But they're going to have to. There's going to be some games that aren't always, as perfect as we'd like.
Coach, maybe it's not so much what you learned tonight about your group, but what was confirmed for you tonight with what you saw?
Well, I don't know if, time will tell. I try not to make any real confirmations until we have kind of more data in front of us. What I do think is our leadership was really good with the Wessons and with C.J. Walker. I felt really good about that, and Kyle. And I thought that we were tied together through. That's tough when you have a young team and you don't score for 7 minutes to open the game, because everybody gets a little tighter, and I felt like that at the free throw line. I just felt like we were really tight. So I thought our response, even in the midst of that, I think it took us having to get a wide open dunk, right, to get our first points. But that was good to see.
When you lose Andre late like that, and Dwayne goes in the game and had some good moments and some tough moments, and he has to check the Cumberland that was the preseason player of the year. What did you see from him responding to that moment where he gets thrust into a situation? He's not really known for his defense. It
was good. It was good. I thought he had good attention to detail. I thought he battled and competed. Fouled him one time, but I thought he battled and competed. He lost his cousin 21 one time, which he's got to continue to get better at. But I thought he did a nice job competing. He's got a strong body, long arms, but that's a tough matchup, and he did a really good job with it. I was proud of Dwayne, his overall play.
You had said you're not planning on redshirting anybody, and obviously it was a tight game. Was everybody eligible to play tonight?
Yeah, everybody was. It was the nature of the game. I was hoping to get a couple more guys in. I know we played 10, but it was just the nature of the game. It was hard to do it.
You had talked about Andre and his defensive effort tonight, but how much of a team effort does it take to hold Jaron Cumberland to 13 points and have a really bad shooting night?
I thought it was, so much. I thought it was, I don't know what was his overall numbers. We talked about trying to keep his efficiency down. So if he was going to have a heavy night, his field goal attempts needed to be high, and that's kind of what they were. Andre really competes. I think Andre's got a goal of being one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. I love that about him, and thought he really made it difficult for him. And Cumberland's a terrific player. He's going to have a lot of big games for him.
Hey, Coach, what's your ideal assist-to-turnover ratio for your point guard?
2 to 1, 2.5 to 1.
So like
2 to 1, 2.5 to 1. We're not there yet. It's we.
One to two.
Yeah,
between the two of them.
We had a couple just sloppy ones late, careless ones late. We got to get better with that across the board.
And how much of that is just like the same? It's just game one and still figuring some things out. And how much of that is just bonehead mistakes, I guess?
I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of youth, CJ getting his feet under him, but I'm not. They don't want me to make excuses. I don't want to make excuses for them. We've got to play better in that area and coach them better. But I thought we were good, and we just had a couple careless plays.
Chris, now that you've reassessed your offensive output tonight and you're feeling good, what does this mean that Ohio State beats Cincinnati in a rivalry sense?
Good question. I just think, this game was put on the schedule because I think it matters. Maybe more to people that have known our program. I had an usher sit down before the game, right after our shoot-around. He said, Coach, I was a student here when we lost in back-to-back final games in 61 and 62. I was a student here when we lost, and he gave me. I was like, whoa! For a minute, I was putting his age in my head, but that would have been inappropriate to ask him. But bottom line is it means a lot to people that know our program. I think this game means a lot. It was one. Would I have said I'm glad we scheduled it had we went 1-1? I don't know. But I think it matters. It matters, and it was a good game, and it's a great opening game for our fans.
Throw in on that, Jerry Lucas was sitting in the front row behind the one basket.
Oh, great.
Two-time National Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was his nemesis.
Yeah.
What do you think's going through his mind as you guys, in a sense?
It's a great question. I'd be curious to know, because he's got a pretty impressive mind, those that know Jerry. I'd be curious to know. I know I got a couple calls and voicemails this week from guys that it does matter to them. So, and we, like we talked about, 9 straight NCAA tournaments. It's a really high-quality program. I think they're in terrific position and shape with John leading the program now. Again, I don't know when this will continue, if it will continue, but I know that they're a high-quality program, and their consistency speaks for itself.
Do you want it to continue?
I think I do. I think it's good for us and good for both programs. Now, people are also going to ask about Xavier and Dayton. Those are going to be the questions that are going to come up. Well, if you're playing UC, why aren't you playing Xavier and Dayton? So, scheduling is complicated. We've talked about that, but I think it'll be something we revisit. I'm sure Gene will have those conversations at some point. I also just want to thank our fans. I thought their energy was great tonight. I really did, and just want to say a quick thank you to Buckeye Nation. They were fantastic. We needed their energy in a game like this, and they were a big part of it.
You called this a rock fight. Is that the kind of game that you anticipate that you might need to play this year with this team, or do you think it might get prettier in a sense?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know. I think there will be games. Not everybody we play at the high major level is going to be as physical as Cincinnati was tonight. They're just not. Like they were extremely physical. There are other teams that aren't as physical. But Michigan State's a great example of a team that's incredibly physical. There are other teams in Penn State's very physical in our league. So I think there'll be a lot of games that'll be like that, but hopefully we'll be better too in some ways offensively.
About 5 minutes left in the first half. Luther took the ball from McNeil and almost lost it, dove on the ground, got it, threw it ahead, got a layup for DJ. That seemed like a spark when you guys needed one. What did you see from Luther today?
I thought he was really good. Thought Luther had some moments where, he talked to me about his turnovers. I talked to him about his foul, 35 feet from the basket. So there's some things that he can clean up, but he gave us quality minutes, and both in guarding Cumberland, made some shots for us as well, got to the free throw line.